everybody. This is our third budget meeting. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 24th, 4 p.m. All right, welcome everybody. So I'll go over what we discussed from our last meeting, and that was what was incorporated into the current version that you have. And then we have to open it up to talk about a few other items regarding this. So at our last meeting, it was decided to remove the top paid New York and EWR revenues and put that money, that total, into the construction line. So we increased construction by 116,498, and the total became proposed of 923,881.47. So that was one change on this. Another change is we decided to go with $3.05 for the tax rate, which would bring in property taxes of $1,242,876. So we increase that. That will make us go over the tax cap. The proposal was with $2.96, but we changed to increase that to $3.05. The Morley Fire District, we did get the proper paperwork from them, so that was increased from $14,151 to $14,430. That was in there. We added $10,000 for the Canton-Special tax collection revenue account, pending their response to our thoughts on them paying more for us to do tax collection. That was put in as revenue for $10,000. We have heard back from them, and I sent you that email to help with their setup, but they don't feel that they're going to be able to do that. So we have to talk about that. Assessor. The board has decided to do a full reval of contracting with our associates for a total of $180,000. With payments over a 3-year period. As we know that the city of Lawrenceburg had contracted with them, and the town of Potsdam was currently contracted. So the first payment would be at the end of this year. The contract is still being reviewed by Garrett. The first payment would be at the end of this year. The village has agreed to pay a third of the cost for each year. So construction would be $20,000 by the end of this year, and then $100,000 for 2025, and then $60,000 for 2026. With again, the village has agreed to pay 30% of the cost. So that was split one here. The board had talked about increasing the salary of the town supervisor from the proposed $18,191.52 to $22,500. So that was put in here as well. So again, presented a balanced budget with those changes as per discussion. But I had emailed you all this morning about my concern about the balance, or the fund balance for highway. We need to pay additional costs for the Minor Street Road project. We took a hit with overtime and other costs from the Debbie storm. I didn't expect to see the number that I did when, after we paid the bills for the construction that come in. And so I am a little, I'm very concerned about this. So I've been talking to Angela regarding this. And how we can somehow look at that, because we don't have enough in fund balance that doesn't meet my standard to be saved for the next year's budget. So Angela and I have been talking about this today, and she has ideas how we can make it better. We might have to make more cuts in the way that were originally proposed to do this. None of us expected what has come our way this past year in regards to. But I would say our two stars, the Minor Street Road Swamp and the Dells. It's unfortunate, but we've done the best we could, but as you know, it's my job to count the beans and make sure we're in a good place. So with that being said, if you look at the chart that you don't have, then it shows the fund balance for the DA account at 218,148, and then the DB, the 177,079. Angela and I have been talking about possibly moving some of the staff allocations back into the DB to help with using that fund balance, as well as putting the construction budget back down to 800,000, possibly lower, so that we wouldn't have to use the DA. So Angela, I don't know, would you like to speak to some of the things we had talked about?
Sure. I did review the year-to-date operations before extrapolated them to the end of the year. Possibly could be, there is some unspent money. My biggest concern is, I will just summarize everything we have to say that there is no room to appropriate fund balance. Yeah, we have appropriated fund balance to $2,000,000, but we have to they're just simply, it will be, depending on how the budget falls into line, there was a significant appropriation of fund balance. So once that comes to fruition, there is nothing out of that. So it is fund balance.
And that fund balance from last year, because we didn't have extra revenue. Okay, we already put in the check. So we had to offset it with the fund balance. Well, in this, it came in, and then additional.
So in the DA fund, just looking at that in one side, their only revenue that we have for the program. So that would mean that we have $590,000 of revenue to spend in 2021. We budgeted 5,940, so for that 350,000. Yeah. Looking at your spending, which all year long has been going according to budget, if we were to meet every line item in that DA budget solely, which is largely highway machine repair, contractual expenses as money unspent. There is some money in personal services unspent, we haven't come to the end of the year, so rushing me, it's pretty much done for the year. We have some hospital medical insurance unspent monies there, but if we are to spend according to the budget at the end of the year, there will be no amounts to appropriate in. So we either have to trim up spending in the last quarter and be very cognizant of what we're spending money on, and I would say maybe that's still not enough, that we then have to figure out how to get on the game. We've got 215,000.
So you're saying the DB fund.
The DB funds will be
Fund balance.
fund balance, DB funds on the surface will be okay with an appropriated fund balance of 177, but did receive some revenue on Minor Street of 250 from the grant, and if any of that money has to go back, you should not use fund balance for any.
So that is. Where is that?
The 250 is in this year's financial statement, but it's in the 2024 budget.
It's not fully to fund balance, so is it in fund balance?
It will be when it closes, yes.
It will be.
Yeah, when it closes, it will
So,
be.
so if it's there, that would be. So is all the chips in there? Is all the chips that have come in so far in there? And how
All
much is,
four
Yes,
are
it is.
in there, yes,
So we
So
put
how
the
much is left?
DD,
how much is left to be added in there?
70,000. So
There's,
he needs to do one more, request, right? It's about 70 or 71,000. 71,000 left over, just
So it'll be back December 18th. It's still being due.
December 18th will be the payment.
and so all the revenues are, well, not all the revenues are in there, so we're still.
we would get one sales tax distribution for coming in. So I just kind of took that to budget. It's like,
It'll be about 180,000.
and I have in my projection about,
100.
which is what.
It's 180.
Okay,
I know.
okay.
It's 1,214,000 that we're gonna end up with. The last check's gonna be 296 and change.
Okay. So with that being
Sales tax.
said,
Sales tax.
if we, with that being said, your DD fund is okay for this appropriation. I mean, I'm really cautious of it, cut as much. And, just because the fund, it's a one-time shot in arms, because we lose fund balance, budget, so it's.
So how much have we spent with what was budgeted for 24? Because all year I've been hearing everything's good. We got this, we got this, we got
In the
this.
month of October, so we haven't reported on that month, we just put a check.
Understood. So how much did we spend over what we budgeted originally? We spent 314,000.
If I look at how we put in Debbie's one was 65,000 and total charge expenditures. I'm gonna round it, it's on the side. It's 1.1. Budget 919,000. Those two numbers combined.
Jump in.
The numbers that I come up with. Adding in, we had the 119 and change from Metro for reimbursements, chips, New York, stream recovery, stream ops. We should have been just over $1 million total in construction.
We were.
Yeah. So we had I billed Barrett's for $500,000 last month.
Just made it.
Then we had to pay break paving for Minor Street at $492,775.
That's one thing. Just
Yeah.
made that.
Yep. And then did have some other bills there. But by the time my figures were correct, by the time Minor Street was paid for, we budgeted 300,000 for paving 20 feet out through, and then 40,000 to widen. Was in my plan that I presented in March. Because I had said that highway construction shouldn't have to pay for the widening. Because that was, I felt the highway department was responsible for the 20 feet that's always been there. And the 40,000 that I had listed at the bottom was the widen from the bridge 8, the widening from the bridge to the park. So that was 340. The 492, 775, the figures I came up with, I had roughly right about 420 and change left to go towards my machine. Instead of the 300, which should have left about $66,000, I believe, past what we had budgeted with all the chips, nickel money, everything involved. So if you look at it from the standpoint that I had always said the board would have to come up with that $40,000. In the end, all you needed to come up with was another 26,000 above that 40. And highway construction beat the rest.
But that's DB, right?
Correct.
That's DB, so.
But that's what we were talking about, was the construction, EV construction.
Right. What we're concerned about the DA fund balance.
Okay, I just thought that we were talking about EV construction. And about that we were way over right now, and EV construction is. We ended up putting more from highway into Minor Street by 120,000 more than what was ever planned to be. And that left a balance of like $66,000.
So we can't figure how we got the 350.
I don't have my figures with me, I'm just going off memory.
So we use that, 119 was budget. If we're talking about other transportation, we are something like,
Yes, correct.
okay, that was in.
I don't
No,
know,
it
so
wasn't.
Or we amended a real appropriation.
that was actually after the fact.
It should have been amended.
So we amended the 119, yeah. Increased the contractual expenditures by 1.
Right. That has to be done.
It just, but I have the report, so that I can see it. So we have now that budgeted highway improvement of 830,000. We have spent 2.
That should have been. That because the revenues that we didn't, the revenues from office, the other one, and pay them more, were not in the revenues, they were not budgeted as revenue. They can hit. And so what we did was because they come, we add them to that 919 because now that's available for construction. So,
It's fine.
so if they're in revenue, they put in revenue as amendment because they're finally paying. But in our 24 budget, those 3 items were not, should not have been, were not in as a,
But now they are,
because we must have amended,
and we amended the budget.
we amended the budget to include them. But we didn't budget them originally as a revenue.
Maybe it will help.
I asked Mary Ann.
You want, let me make copies of this for the board.
And the other thing.
Did you make a copy of these? Make, 60 copies? Please? Yes.
But I asked Mary Ann.
Just that one.
I asked Mary Ann, I brought down one of my little cheat sheets. You took a copy of it that way. You know, copy of that. Yeah, approach.
I got that one. What did you say?
I approached the bench.
And so
Got that one, but I don't have.
in your,
Great. Great. I know. Might have thrown it in my. Just move that.
That one.
Okay.
That's not.
But Jim, when we add those revenues into costs, not costs, but all of the chips money, so we have an original revenue budget of 378,000. We received about 4. So we increase that revenue, like you see on the sheet that's coming by the 72,000. But to keep the budget balanced, we also have to increase the appropriations by 72,000. So we can't just add revenue. So our budget paid 100,000.
But in the original 20. That we. But they were not in there. So. That's what I consider to be, federal revenue. That we will spend, and so we put it in. And so, to me, if you've got $1 million down for construction, and you receive an additional 200,000 in revenue that you weren't unanticipated revenue of 200,000, now you have $1.2 million to spend. No matter how you cut it, you can't just, it don't just disappear. We didn't have it.
I can see where you're going. Thanks, Christie.
Okay, so this is just, I just read these and I support conversation again. So if you go to total DB revenue, 37 chips, that budget item is at 327,000 more. We received 4. So we need to do budget amendment to bring in that. That's the difference. So that needs to. That budget amendment purchase is not yet. And that's where.
And then we're expecting another 771 pounds.
So we will have to, let me back up, we will have to modify this chips budget. 121 and the 70,000. That would bring us to 90,000. You go to the very bottom section, how we name, as your budget situated today, you only have 900. But you spent 160. So when I look at this right now today, you're 350,000 overspend or than. That 314 is going to drop down to about.
What?
314 overspending, we have to increase that by that shifts. So that 918 months budget. We're gonna have 90,000. So we're gonna have spent 168 out of budget. Once we modify that.
This is all DB, not the DA.
And this is all happening in the month of October. And when we did the September report, I mean, we only had expenditures on this line of $119,000, so 1 month's time, we added, approximately.
Which is,
Normal, it's fine.
which is what we figured we had this number for construction. But now you're telling us it was 300 and something.
No, it's gonna be fine.
But we expected that with the mining stream, those were additional costs you didn't accept.
Combination of minor street and the storm, right?
Yes, the storm is, you know, we preliminarily have calculated about $200,000. That includes overtime, materials, equipment rental, do you see anything?
It was $64,500 for like $64,490, whatever, but say 64.5 for stone. Fuel, culvert pipe, rented the excavator. It's like, $100 or something to rent a cement mixer for a day for one repair, plus cement for the
So it was about 64,000 that,
it was like $64,500 of
and then
like
the
raw
overtime.
materials that we used to do repairs,
We've already got.
the excavator rental, things of that.
And then overtime. On
I don't have that number.
Right. That's not good right now.
So did I ask them how much are we over, is it saying right now? Did she say one what?
190.
So if you take the 71,000 and change, I just put 71,066, it was in that. Said you should have to come up for minor street, that's 137. Just a minute, because that was what I had figured cheat sheet. Was that. With that 71,000 added in, with all the chips, that left 66,000 something. Or to my figures down.
All right, Stephen has something to say.
That's the,
Okay. What's that?
66,000 chips.
66,000, that would be remaining for minor street. And then 71,000 something. I just used 71,000. For that last reimbursement chips, so 137. I mean, it was 66 and change and 71 and change. I just used 66 and 71.
What's the 66 revenue?
66,000. I had 420,000 left.
Oh, out of the regular construction?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I held back 10,000 to help pay for paving back Weed Road, Debbie Storm. Stone, which I did that voucher today, it's like $9,507. But there should have been 430 left. And I held the 10 back and I thought we could take, I had it rated to a penny, 420,000. Down through. That could be put towards minor street out of road construction. So that's why I say. We got 64.5 for the Debbie Storm and that. The board gave us, but we put back 120. So we gave the 64.5 back plus up to 120. That left a balance after pay rate was paid, that left a balance of 66,000 and change. That's still outstanding. That should have been over budget. The construction count after paying for minor street. But that's including the 71,000 that hasn't come back yet from that last round of chips. I figured the 71,000, it'll be back December 18th. Maybe I shouldn't have figured that in, but expecting it's going to come back. But that should, by the time it was all said and done, with all the chips reimbursements ring, NIFA reimbursement was, or the NIFA payout was added in, then the 800 originally starting, minus the 328 and whatever that was budgeted for chips for this year. That should have left. We should only be over 66,000 people in the financial. That should have been, according to my calculation. I went through several. I know I just like you scrap pieces of paper and stuff there.
So we would be, once all the budget modifications are in the DD fund. Right now, it's showing on the sheet that was handed out that it's with the budget in 14, but we're gonna modify them. And when all of those budget modifications are in, this whole entire section will be over budget approximately 125, which is 66, and you're speaking of 865 for the levies.
Okay, because I wasn't aware that the Debbie storm was coming out of construction. Yeah. I thought that was coming from other places.
Well, remember, we have,
Had a
so we
separate,
have that right here as a separate line item.
so
So
that,
that was gonna be on balance. Okay,
the Debbie storm did not come out of the
so,
construction.
yeah,
No, it did not, but these on the report that we're looking at, there are two categories altogether. I know it doesn't count that you're not looking at them, but in that particular section, the total highway improvement item going A show group.
So if you take the 64.5 then off the Debbie storm,
We're at-
and it's up to about 66.
So to your earlier question, Jim, how much have we overspent? We in summary, once all these amendments come in, we spent overspent.
I apologize if I come off a little aggressive, but I take my numbers to heart.
All of the additional sales tax. 180,000 sales tax. That's going back to additional comments, so first started talking about. We were at 840. We took EWR costs and whatever revenues to increase that figure 800 to 916, whatever it was. That additional 116,000 was money from that was ninth position. That's what that was. You budgeted,
yeah,
originally budgeted
Yeah.
100, so it has nothing to do, that 116, that the way you explained it, it sounded like that the revenues from those three raising that 800 to 9 something. That increase from 8 to 916 is because of that. Because the 116,000.
everybody agreed with that amount. Remember that position was, for an HEO with the family. So, okay, so it sounds like I think we're in good shape with the DB, but again, we talked about the DA fund balance 218. And we had discussed taking some of the positions out of the DA and put them in the DB, because that's what we've done in the past.
Currently, they are allocated, it is about 35% out of the. And 65% out of the.
So
No, I
how-
thought it was not.
No, we have 325, that's how.
and so what's that, how much of that's gonna take to finish the year?
Well, this is looking at the 2025 budget.
Oh, you're gonna 20.
Yeah, so that's right now where we're sitting, in our split is 325,000 and 170,000.
But the goal is to not have, for the 2025 budget, to not have a fund balance dependency. You know, we have we put it in here, 218, as the DA fund balance, it goes to just get rid of that. So we adjust the positions.
And because we've been so fiscally responsible. What's happening is, again, those who are paid ones do this. Because the only place we can do this is by raising taxes. So therefore, what we're doing is usually being picked up. So that's real. Which brings us to other eventually. You know, talked about it. But I don't see it going the way you explained it, and that is reading. See, I won't sit still. And
What, which part?
the part, the part for the village pay up there, because I don't know, I don't know how it can get done. I mean, this is the irony of it. We're doing a reval because we're claiming that the values aren't equitable. And people aren't paying, some are paying more than they should, or less than they should, whatever. But how you're going to fund doing it is certainly not equitable. Because if we take the money out, of DA, the village is paying a third. And then they're gonna pay, and then village residents gonna pay again, because it's coming out of A. If you take it out of DB, for us, or for the balance, then town outside is paying 2/3 of the costs of the rebound. By the village is paying 1/3 of the costs of the rebound, and the village of Ransom River Falls paying absolutely nothing. So how we're gonna be able to arrange that? So and the only way that I can see doing it, so that it's equitable, is to be able to take it all out of D and forget the village's third,
Why would we do a rebound on a D?
because it's a townwide expense.
Wouldn't that be A?
Or I mean, not the, I'm
All
sorry,
right,
A,
thank you.
A, I'm sorry, A, out of A. Well, we talk so much about DA. But it's A, but it's.
It's right, A, yes.
And so the only way you can charge it across the whole township is to take the entire thing out of A. Which means then it becomes, and so here we are, it's our budget. But if we don't do it through taxation, where are we gonna get the money? And if the village decides they want to contribute a third of it, that throws a monkey wrench into it. Whereby now, we can't double charge the people in the village, so we gotta go to B. But unless the village pays half, then town outside pays 2/3, the village pays a third, and the village Rensselaer Falls pays nothing. Well, nothing equitable about that. So I'm confused on how we're gonna be able to do it and fund it. Would it be an equity? So, I mean, nice gesture on the part of the village to pay a third. But that's really some money here. Unless, no, I'm right on it. So unless I'm not, like, it's. And I don't know the real right way to make it happen. And there again, we're going to agree that it's going to be certainly, it's beneficial. Village wants it, especially because the bonding and whatever. I don't think it matters to the county. But the county will benefit, the school district will benefit. So here we are. We're gonna take off the flag. No question about it. This group here, going to get the flag. You know, we mitigate some of what Cindy's gonna have to put up with. Because you're doing it outside of the health. But I don't know, I said, I don't know how. Somebody's got to explain to me how we're going to pay for it.
We'll use the DA, the DA's already stressed.
Hey. Hey,
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 not
hey,
at the highway.
Oh, hey, I know, hey,
Hey.
that's like Canadian, hey, yeah, but A's already stressed.
stop that. So. And I said, we'll have that discussion come Monday because it's on the agenda. Maybe something between now and then before that joint meeting, something explaining how we can fund this, so it's under the. You're smiling, you got an answer?
This is the third balanced budget that's been presented. We talked about, contracting with GAR. Once we decide on what we're going with, then we have to, make this a preliminary budget and then put it out for public comment, weekly notice. We go from there. Are you suggesting we pay it out of B? For a rebound?
No, you ain't paying it out. Why would town outside by itself on the rebound? That would be crazy.
That's how the assessor, shared services agreement is now. Assessors in.
But again, that's why I
It's in the
said,
meeting account, and the, village pays a third of all those costs, so.
that's why I said years ago, when the village quit doing assessment. Again, the
It
whole,
should have been put in
the history of it was, and you all know, is the village didn't own the town's assessor, hired their own. So for, I don't know how many years, village residents had two different assessments. Same. Could be the same, might be depending on who assesses. They paid the village taxes based on the village assessor's assessment, and then they paid their school accounting county on the counts. That got somewhat confusing. People didn't like it. They decided to go, and but because they were doing that, they said, we're doing our own assessment, so your assessment's got to come out of B. Should never happen. Town assessing is for school, county, and town. Should never happen. And
How many years ago was that? Before you were.
So, but it, and so then when it's stopped and they quit assessing, that's when assessing should went A, because it's the town-wide expense. Then we would be having this discussion.
I wonder why it was never changed.
Hmm?
I wonder why it was never changed.
Because village just put assessing and partners just continue to go the way they went. Yeah, yeah. And so for however many years. Village residents not for that.
All right, so we have two critical issues on the table. I'm going back to the fund balance of the DA. The board, support that Angela and I will work on bringing some of the staff down into the DA so that we can get rid of that fund balance piece. Because that's the only way that we can really try to do it, right?
With that, tax fund, we did that.
So is the board comfortable with us working on that
So,
to bring it down so that we don't have
so what do you, like, bring it on, we're gonna take,
So some of the staff is in the DA. We take some of that and put it into the DD, so that we don't have
well,
to use. fund
some of
balance.
the, so it's
The
not,
expenses,
it's some of the staff,
the employee expenses.
you're only talking about.
Right now, I'm talking about that, yeah.
So it's not some of them. Isn't it
A few positions
for,
will have.
for X amount of the year? You take payroll out of pay, and then for X amount of the year, you take all of payroll out of B, same with the expenses for health, for health insurance and whatever. So,
Never regret.
so are you saying that you're gonna split that up, or are you just changing the percentage?
I think we have to look at modifying the percentage.
So you're gonna modify the percentage, so you wanna charge more to DB. Again, just so you know, you're doing. Charging more to town outside. And less. To the town line. Basically what you're doing. If that's what it takes. I've said, I've always been opposed to it for a number of years. That except that 180,000 extra sales tax. Got used to share. And I said, why are you doing that?
We don't put that extra back into the.
I said, by doing that, and it happened for years. Excess sales tax. Here. Which gets some sales. And so what it was doing, it was taking, and because tax rates being what they were, it was shoring up. That unbalance from A to B.
Okay, so again, is the board comfortable with the angel and I,
And I,
trying to get the percentage?
if I was on doing things. What do you do? What do you say?
What would be something?
Village. Is what confuses things, and it only happens to towns that have villages within it. Is you have townwide expense and you have town outside expense. And they're just, that's what confuses it. The village wants to be a village, it's fine, it's gonna be a village. Here's expensive, so. And so then, you've got your town, it's just balance. That's not the way it works. It's just town lights.
So again, I ask, are you comfortable so that we can fix this problem with the 2025 budget?
So what's the percentage?
I haven't done.
What's the breakdown?
I think that all lines should be on the table. For your 2025 budget, I'm sorry. You also have some actual expenditures in there that I can do a run on the history of them to see if we can maybe apply the budget of $100,000 every single year. We're not using that money. It's saving people. You know. That's certainly not the case. I'm not implying that, but certainly payroll is the biggest drive at this point. There's also actual expenditures that should be looked at as well. So I don't have the thing will come to.
We have to do something. What's that?
It's the old saying, we gotta do something, even if it's wrong.
No, it's because we don't have enough money. From the fund balance, we won't have enough money.
I'll just give you an example of what I was talking about, that using today's numbers, we have a budget on one of our contractual expenditure things of $200,000. We have 2 months essentially left in here, and we've only spent 50%. So does that like, we look at the historical trend of that line, does at 200,000, probably in the north country, you never know what it snows. I'm sure we want expensive for the immigration there, but what does the history do? Back in your history, we certainly have stories. Maybe give us a better indicator, like 200 is really good right now. That's. This. No.
We have a different proposal.
All fresh stuff. Started with the budget process, I feel like I'm in a courtroom. Something that's here. And so I need to look at the new evidence.
Well, one of the things that we didn't expect was the paving costs. That was big. That impacted the money. So.
160.
Actually. 26,000 for.
Well, yeah, from what we budgeted, but you know, you figured just use Meyer, so we figured Meyer Street at 340 came to 490.
Had budgeted 300,000 even for highway construction budget, 40 as extra. And then the bill was 492.
So it's 150, and just the excess sales tax cover that. And so I guess I'm confused as to why all of a sudden we don't have any money. Because really, we are not budgeted that much because our revenue so coming in higher than anticipated.
For the,
For the TV. Talking about the TV.
it's just flat.
Believe you me, I wish we didn't have GA and TV.
Well,
I wish it was just one highway account and then, yeah.
that's why you gotta read.
The next critical issue is what do you want to do with the revamp? Jim has his ideas, but, we need a direction.
They're not, I didn't give any idea, and just,
Well, you had.
I'm
you
just telling
spoke
you,
about it.
I spoke with facts. This is what the facts are. I didn't give any idea how to resolve it because I don't have an idea of how to resolve it. Well, yeah, the only one way is to put it all in that. And then how do you finance? It's, to me, that's the only, it seems like the only correct way that we can equitably charge. But it doesn't explain how.
Can we just talk about the 8 fund balance for a moment? Okay. So when we left last year, there's approximately last year, we need to be $200,000. 2024 did not. So if we don't put anything back into the fund balance. Or. I know. They have a budget on the table. And we really should be targeting fund balance based on that budget. So, you know, before budget preparation. The budget fund balance is, if we create 76,000. A fund. we would, if all the numbers spent to the line, with end with 2025 year. All estimates and projections, $132,000. Below 2 months of expenditures. That's kind of the baseline, so let's continue. So that would mean that in 6. I know we're involved. And I would argue that we should, just be very well aware of that appropriation. What was some of these things.
Right, I said that. A only stress that. So you're there.
But absolutely. But the other piece of that is, even if we're not paying for it in the. A little bit of a discussion, but. When you go out to do a contract at the end of they've said we got it. Yeah, we pay you X number of dollars. Only going to give you cash in. Or we give you cash in 25. How do you have that obligation on the books to spend money in 25? You have to treat that and segregate a piece of our fund balance. The obligation on the table to spend money on it. So it's, and I understand how something in front of you heard but just know that.
It's appropriated.
Correct. And they've changed the name, so it's. I guess it's different name, but it's basically it was. Contractual obligation.
Which is next year's. Cars 100,000.
Yeah. And that's great.
Now I will say kudos to Cindy for the particular. Justice and systems. To get all that data updated, I think they're down to like 600 properties out of 3,900. Well, close to 4,000 properties, we're down to 600 and updating all that data. And that's a tremendous amount of money. Really contract. The pod span, 380, I think, dark, and 380, maybe 1,000. Because all their records have to be updated. City of Lawrenceburg, they pay $250 because the data needed to be updated. So when you look at that, what's supposed to learn this? Just yourself.
No.
So the
28 this
24,
year, the 20 this year, 20 something this year, 160.
We do 100.
We don't have 100 and.
Oh, I'm sorry.
it is a good, it's a
So
good.
only 60.
I see.
It's weird.
Is it not fair?
So everybody's had this since last week. Seventeen and the White House. But because of the expenditures that will thing in highway. So, all right, so I got to answer the board. I mean,
Well, say it again, if you want to.
Yeah, just outline it with one.
So for the DA, to get rid of that unbalanced piece in this chart. we Go back and look at the staff. The expenses there. Most likely move some of those down into. As far as, the salaries needed for that.
What is we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to do this.
Out here, it's something. Then what you're talking.
Two problems.
Because what we do now, like at the end of this year, we balance it out. As far as payments of benefits, but retirement, being with this one, we balance that out. At the end of each year, so that's one issue. If everybody's good with that, and trust us, to try to get that done. We'll work on it. And the second issue is. My position is, we move forward with our pay it out. We can't change the history. So,
Why would we pay that? Yeah.
I didn't say DA, I said A.
What you just said.
I
No,
just said,
she changed that. She finished it once and
You scolded me for it. Well, I'm just paying you back. You said.
I did not say DA. I said
You did say. You said, we go with our and pay for it
No, I
like
said
the.
A. I said A. All right, so that's my position.
So where are you paying our?
I have it out of A. It's in here, out of the A account.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
It's being proposed.
and so are you gonna accept the, from the,
Yes. That, I've already proposed it, Jim.
okay,
And I know you say it's wrong. I wasn't here when the assessor position should have been put into A. That was on that town board, that was on that town supervisor. We're at this point,
so.
and you know, it's my belief that we need to do a revamp.
So, again. Long down.
This
That
is
work, that work,
I haven't heard a suggestion made.
Huh?
You haven't heard a suggestion made.
they're gonna do it with DA. Because if they take that. Then they take just all that DA. Over in DB. What's gonna happen is there'll be a disproportionate share. of Payroll and other expenses to our employees. Paid by town outside. So. If I've got to live with an explanation. I can move it. We'll know more, we might want to more about it. All right. Is that it?
Yes. I think
Paying
you
for DAR out of DA.
both.
And
Yes, Mary Ann, yes,
Guess what?
what you said.
Don't do it.
Just those,
No, listen, don't do what I said.
Just-
Just give your opinion
just
and
those-
say,
Yes.
what do you think we should do?
I think that we should take care of the DADB race rather than the staff. Not out of it,
John?
and we accept the money for the village.
I was about to agree with you, but he tried to throw it for.
You don't want money?
should we?
Well, in our shared services agreement, right, it calls for the village to pay a third of all the costs. of the assessment. Anything above and beyond, they have to do it. We would have to worry about it. They have verbally agreed and supported it.
But if we're paying that out of egg.
You don't think they should pay?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh,
Just getting it all straight in my head.
it's a lot. It's ready.
If it's, you know,
Yeah, it's exactly what we want to be. Yeah. Okay,
But, and also like, potentially go over what she said. See what she. Figure out.
then what should come?
The DA, all the check.
if you're gonna start, doing things to contract. Makes sense to me. I mean, it's a skill. Although, I'm sure these. More apt to be opposed to things like that, but if you do those things. You have to run it by at least. Committee anyway, see, you know. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Because if you start dealing with contractual, now there's a lot of stuff in contractual, but just things that need to be done. Sometimes you're lucky, but again, you got your equipment account,
Yeah,
everything you've got, like you said, the storage, you got that running, very long, good. What's it cost if you lose a motor?
Say probably 50,000 or better.
well, Stephen's request is in the binder, so you have all that data.
Yeah.
Okay,
But this DA problem, we saw it in 2025, just coming back. There is no fact, you know. Yeah.
And
I remember the 1 year fuel prices went up, I had 36 cents left. That was
36 cents.
36 cents left in fuel.
and he wanted to spend it. All right, all
and
right, all right.
as another part of that, say it just comes back to honestly with those two. We have 180,000 in excess sales tax this year. And interesting to see the first check was. Interesting to see. You know. Boston, Syracuse. Here it's 3 billion. It's a big spread. That was the start of it.
Okay.
That's-
So I made a recommendation about Canton-Central. Bring that down to 0. Revenue. Fees. Does anybody have any feelings about that? Really thoughts?
Court fees have turned around, they're probably going to exceed and hopefully. Barring. anyone, which is pretty. This is.
I don't know if we'll ever reach the 120 again. But we most likely will reach the 85,000 this year.
We budgeted,
We budgeted like 80 or 85,
we're at 70.
so I
We got
would,
like 70 right now.
through September, we have taken in 65,700, we budgeted 80,000.
66,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
For 9 months,
yeah,
so it should be another 20, maybe another 22.
we'll need that.
So if, although they don't have. Yeah, you should be. The budget.
We'll make that.
66, 88, so.
All right. Is there anything else? Did I mention at the beginning of the meeting about FEMA? And where we're at with that? That I had a conversation with the FEMA person involving us in the airport last Thursday. Marty Gannell. Did I mention that already today? So he called me and he's like, Mary, and then you can't, and then stop by, I said, why not? And, so Marty was the FEMA representative for the quoted $8,000 that we never got. So he's the FEMA representative. It's my understanding that he was at the highway superintendent's breakfast meeting with two other Homeland Security guys. And he goes, well, I'd like to talk to you about, you know, what your needs are. He said, yeah, about 200,000 probably. And I said, but I understand that there were 3 people at the highway breakfast. And he goes, well, I was one of them. I said, oh, you and 2 other Homeland Security guys? He said, yes. I said, well, this is what I'm hearing. That the town would have to hire an engineer to go out and assess the damages that have already occurred. And then tell us if it was right or wrong. And if it was wrong, then we would have to rip up what we did. And based upon an engineering,
It started out.
let me finish. And then we go from there. I said to Marty, that's good. That's not good at all. I said, you know, we have a lot of costs and I am gonna be putting in the money. And I will advocate that we, keep going up the chain. So, we had to fix the roads, the costs were there, the overtime is there. So I gotta tell you right now, I'm gonna say it right up front. I don't know if we're gonna make any money from the damages we incurred.
Which is what you're hearing a lot about. What's, you hear about, you know, feed. But what they do, like it sounds like. You give them what your costs were, what your expenses were, to get you back to where you originally were. And they'll put enough conditions on it.
To make it out in the fight.
And so,
Well, for 2 years, you get back for computers and other stuff. They denied it. And I said, I'm done, I'm not, you know. It's sad,
What
we
they
can't
said,
rely on that money. Coming back to us.
what they said at the highway superintendent's meeting, with street people, is that you would have to hire, what we did are considered temporary repairs. In the eyes of FEMA, they're not a permanent repair. They will only pay for a permanent repair. Permanent repair starts by hiring a consultant to come in and assess the area and see what it would take to make it to where it would never happen again. Then after the consultant goes through and says, you need to do this, then you hire an engineering firm to come in and engineer it. Take and have some stamped drawings. Then from that point, you hire your contractor from in to carry out. What we did is what they're calling temporary repair and make the permanent repair. Then you can submit to FEMA to get the money for your temporary repair and your permanent repair. They don't want you coming back to pay for it. But you have to pay for it all before you can submit for it. So you have to pay all the consulting, engineering, contractor fees before you can submit.
There's no guarantee you get. The permanent repair cost includes taking out of temporary repair.
Correct.
it's FEMA's way of saying.
There was a lot of chatter at the meeting. Questions being asked at that point. And some of that rolled right back to projects that we did and said, no, that would not be a permanent fix. That's only temporary.
Would be nice to find, say, look, Jay, would be nice to find. Even then,
Yeah. So we can't rely on that.
emergency.
The president declared this one. All right, let's look at timeline now. Heidi had sent everybody the timeline of what we should legally notice and our, you know, can you just repeat that?
Well, not one you should. If you are gonna have a public hearing on November fourth, you have to have it in the paper on the 30th. We've already missed the deadline for North Country this week. And I didn't have time to check the calendar before I came down, but when I checked it yesterday, we only had 2 days left to get it in by the 30th. Cause like each day, one of the days drop off that you can edit. So I don't know how long it's gonna, yeah. So I don't know what day the 30th will no longer be available. So I don't know how long it's gonna take you guys to do your changes and stuff, but in the event that it's not tomorrow or the next day for me to possibly upload it onto the website, you're not gonna have your meeting on November 4th. We'll have to fix it. Because on November, or on October 30th, I have to have that budget in my office. Or the preliminary budget, I'm sorry, in my office on the 30th and on the website. So,
Going to the website.
because we have I think that's and in my office, so that somebody walks and I can look up.
So,
And that's just because at the last meeting, that's the day you guys decided to have the public hearing, doesn't mean you actually have to, but to have it, I have to have everything. But I also have to have the legal notice ready tomorrow, knowing that all that will be ready by the 30th.
but we can't legally notice that to you. Email. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And John, you're gonna be.
After the 7th. that's good.
The public notice draft we have is not correct, because we made a change to your supervisor, salary, and that needs to be included. So that one needs to be updated. They correctly made that change.
Yeah, I knew that.
And do I have that copy then?
Yeah.
They don't have the budget to compare numbers, so.
Yep, we're still going to do. Okay, so we have to. So it's gonna depend on when we can get level draft. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if I'm wrong. Yes.
It's only for a week, I'm a week younger than I thought I was.
Was everybody okay with us getting the preliminary, budget done? And, you know, we'll distribute it and then we'll post it and then have the hearing. Right?
Well, if you guys have that budget, say tomorrow, and I get on, and the 30th is no longer available, then cannot have a meeting. I'm not look. I mean, I can tell you tomorrow, I can look, but
30th is one.
like as the
Yeah, they
days
put in
go,
this
like,
new system.
on the quick ads and stuff like that.
Huh? I know.
So like 3 days ago, I had 2 weeks for like Watertown Daily Times that were available. That started like last week, we could put stuff in, and when I looked yesterday, I had 20 to 29 and 30th. So tomorrow I get on, and 30th may be the last day for us anyways, and then we wait wait till Monday, if it's not done, then the 30th is done. Like in North Country this week, the earliest it can go on the other day was November 1st. So we definitely lost it that day, we know on that one.
True, but If you are have it posted, we can still have it. It's not officially posted.
No, has to legally post for 5 days.
I understand that. Doesn't happen, but I'm sorry, we will post it every times.
But I don't know if it will, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Oh, if it is on the 30th, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You get it one times,
Correct.
and it's still going to North Town first,
Correct.
because we've already got it posted in times.
Which we would because we, at our organizational meeting, state that we're gonna post in both of our papers. So as long as one paper has that 5 days, then we're good.
That's much.
Yeah. But if we lose the Watertown Daily Times window, then we cannot.
Okay,
I mean, I'll let you know, once as soon as you guys give me the go ahead to post it, I'll get on and then that's when I can tell you if we can still go or not.
so if you could put it at 21.
And I can look tomorrow, but it's not ready. Something happened.
We're gonna have. It's a marathon. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Use motion time.
No, I said we're a motion to
Make motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. You didn't.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jim, do you want to adjourn? Say aye.
I.
Say hey.
All right.